Hello, my name's Iris. I'm 17 years old, and I just found my family. Yes, found them. You see, for as long as I could remember, it was only ever my mother, Paisley, and I. I would have thought that I had no father, but my mother had an album of me with pictures of me from back when I was a child, and I saw my dad in those pictures. Mom hated ever talking about my dad. Sometimes Mom would drink a little too much at home, and she'd tell me bits and pieces. That's how I found out that my dad had left us. She never told me why, but only said that he left when I was 4. Now, I remember nothing from that age, so I have no recollection about him. She told me that the only good thing he ever did was to leave the apartment we were staying in with her. As a child, I cherished these tidbits of information because I was the only kid in my class who had no idea about her family. Whenever we had assignments regarding family trees or whatnot, my mom would step in and explain things to my teachers. I would get exempted from those assignments, so what little chance I had at finding out about my family would evaporate just like that. As for my mom, she was pretty hostile and absent from me when growing up. As soon as I turned 10, she withdrew even more. We barely spoke, and she spent most of her days just holed up in her room. She barely even cared to see if I was alive. Sometimes I tried to go and interact with her, but she dismissed me away. She'd tell me to buzz off and stop disturbing her. Of course, I was a child, and that hurt even more. Especially considering my mom never did anything. She never worked, and as far as I was concerned, she barely ever left the house except to go shopping for groceries, a task I had to beg her to do a week in advance, for which I would get yelled at relentlessly. The only source of comfort I had was my next-door neighbor, Elvira. Elvira was much older than my mom, but she always came over to drop off some baked goods or another. The house never ran out of sweet food because of her. Sometimes I would go over to her place to hang out with her when my mom was in an especially crappy mood. Elvira never questioned why I was over and instead just happily hosted me. Mom hated that I went over that much. I knew because she would look at me in disgust whenever I told her that I was over at Elvira's. But she never did or said anything about it because going over to Elvira's meant more time than I was out of the house, which was something she always wanted. Things started changing when I turned 15. Mom became a lot nicer. That does not mean she magically spent a lot of time with me and actually showed me she cared for me, but she didn't crib and cry that I was home all day. Although now looking back, I realized that it was because she had something she needed me to do, work. A few months after I turned 15, she asked me to start working because she thought I was old enough to start contributing to the household expenses. I followed along because I was never allowed to disobey Mom. I began working at a local cafe, and while it was very fun for me, I began to feel really empty. Every day, I would see a lot of families and couples come in and look so happy. That made me wonder about my family. So one day, I plucked up the courage and asked Mom about it. Mom, I've been thinking of some things and I realized I don't know a lot about our family. Ugh, family is garbage. You think they'll be with you forever and support you no matter what, but the second you mess up, they'll abandon you. Let me tell you, family is not worth it. Okay, but why are you saying that? Is this about Dad? What have I told you about talking about him? I don't like it. But don't you think I should at least know something? I'm 15 and I think that's old enough to at least know a little history of my family. Fine, I won't promise you all the answers, but I'll give you whatever I feel like giving. Great. What happened with Dad? Why did he leave? Your dad was a crappy man who left because he couldn't handle the stress of parenting a baby. He left me because he realized he never wanted babies to begin with. That's horrible. Yeah, you see why I don't want to talk about him? Yes, but what about my grandparents? I mean, a lot of kids go over to their grandparents and they get pampered by them. Why don't I have them? Well, your dad's parents never wanted to see you because they hated me. My mother passed away when I was 9. As for your grandfather, he and I got into a huge argument and he refuses to see me. What did you fight about? That doesn't matter. Anyways, this is getting boring. Can we drop it? I guess. But did I ever meet Granddad? No, he lived in another state, and your dad and I never had any money to go over. Your granddad was a workaholic, so he never had time to come over and meet you either. Okay. What happened? Why do you look so sad? You know you're privileged enough to have your mother with you. Am I not enough of a family? You are. I'm really grateful for you, but it's just sad that I never met my grandparents. I wouldn't say that. What do you mean? Well, you met your dad's mom once. Really? Can I meet her again? Absolutely not. I am your only family. Everyone in our family has hurt and abandoned us. But I don't even know them. So you're willing to talk and reestablish a relationship with people who hurt me so much? Do I mean that little to you? No, Mom, you're everything for me. I won't do anything like that. Good. Now, I never want you to bring this up again. I would have fought for more information, but I knew that what I got was the most I was going to get out of my mom. The fact that I had met my grandmother kept playing in my head for a long time afterward. Every time I thought about reaching out to my dad and asking him if I could meet him and my grandma, I would stop myself. Not only because I didn't want to go against my word to Mom, but also because I realized that I was genuinely beginning to develop an intense hatred and anger towards my dad. At that time, I couldn't help but wonder what kind of man just abandoned his child and wife because he got cold feet. But most of all, I felt sorry for Mom. She not only got left by her husband, but her dad also stopped talking to her. That's 2 men in her life who left her just like that. I couldn't imagine what it must have been like for Mom. And then, when I thought about how hurt Mom would be if I ever reached out to either my dad or her dad, I felt crappy. I knew that there was no way that I could do that. To stop myself from dwelling on the new information I got, I poured all my time and energy into school and work. I was doing fairly well in school, and work began to get tiring. The only silver lining was the money I was earning. Initially, Mom was really happy about it, but after a year of working, she began to get fussy. She went back to complaining about the lack of money. I was used to that, but what I wasn't used to was her directing her frustration and anger about our lack of money at me. Suddenly, I went from barely being acknowledged to always being the target of her anger. Every time I got paid, she would yell at me for not working more hours. No matter how many times I explained to her that as a minor, I was only allowed to work a limited number of hours, she never cared to listen. Eventually, I learned to live with her nasty behavior. With every complaint she made, I couldn't help but notice all the places our money gets spent. It always went into the food that she insisted on getting delivered home and her cigarettes. A few months after I turned 17, I had enough. Mom was counting how much money I had made and complaining as usual. And midway through the conversations, something in me snapped. Ugh, you take up too much space and money. I'm sorry, I've been in my room the whole time and I don't even spend on anything though. Then why the hell are the utilities so high? Why do we not have any money? Maybe because you insist on eating out almost every other day and you've been buying a lot of cigarettes? Are you saying that I'm the reason we're broke? How dare you? No, Mom, I'm just trying to say that maybe we should start cooking our own food and you should start cutting down on how much you smoke. No, that's not happening. I have no time in the day to cook. You should pick up another job. Pick up another job? I barely have any time with the job I'm working. I have to also focus on my studies. Why don't you get a job? You don't even do anything during the day. How dare you say that to your mother? You think raising you is easy? You're such a brat that looking after you for even an hour requires at least 3 hours of downtime. I literally leave the house at 7 in the morning for school. You don't even wake up at that time. I come back only at 8 in the evening. I go straight to my room and don't come out until dinner. You barely see me. How are you raising me? Don't you dare say that I haven't been raising you. I've given up everything to make sure you have a roof over your head and clothes on your body. You did nothing. You only love to think that you did. I've been raising myself since I was 10. I've been the one providing for us ever since I started working. You've done nothing but spend all the money and cry that we have no money. You know what? I can't keep living like this. I'm just going to leave. Have fun taking care of yourself. Wait, no, please don't do that. You can't leave me alone. I'm sorry. You're right. I spent a lot of money, and that's because I know that's what I deserve. I've been so caught up with taking care of you that I never even gave myself any care. I deserve better than this. I'm going to go find myself a man that can provide for me. Mom, please, I'll pick up another job. Just please don't leave me. I don't want to stay with someone who so blatantly disrespects me like this. Goodbye, Iris. I felt the panic rising in my chest as I watched my mom pack all her things up. In all the time that I had lived with her, she never once threatened to move out. My panic made me seize up, and I just stood in the doorway and watched as she packed everything away. When I finally came down from the panic, Mom was still rambling about me being ungrateful as she piled her things in her suitcase. While I wanted to stop her and beg her to not leave, a part of me knew it would not lead to anything. If anything, it would make her happier to see me beg. I knew there was no way of me stopping her when the thought of her leaving brought only relief in me. How messed up is it that a child only feels relief when their only parent decides to abandon them? I watched as she left the house, and I finally crumbled in bed after she left. I let myself cry for a while because I felt bad for feeling relieved. I wondered if there was something wrong with me. I lay in bed for a long time. I only woke up the next day, and I tried my best to live my day the way I would have usually. Thankfully, Mom only took half my pay. Not to mention I had been pocketing a portion of my pay to keep as savings for myself. The first thing I did when I got home from work that day was try to contact my dad. I waited a few days, but I got no response from him. I considered ordering the ancestry test kit that would tell me my ancestry, but I was worried about someone finding out that I was all alone at home. I hoped that no one had caught on to me living alone, but Elvira did. She showed up at my place one day after I got back from work. Hi, I couldn't help but notice that your mother hadn't returned home since she left a few days ago. I got a little worried and came to see if everything was okay. Oh, that's nice of you. Well, my mother left me here. Left you? What do you mean? My mom decided that she was done with me and she no longer wanted to live with me, so she abandoned me. Oh my God! How are you going to manage? Well, I'm currently looking for my grandmother. You're looking for her? Don't you know where she is? I don't really know who she is. You don't? Then how do you plan on finding her? I don't really know. I was thinking of doing one of those ancestry things that will tell me who my family is. I tried reaching out to my dad in desperation, but that never worked out. What if the ancestry test doesn't work out? I have no idea. All I know is that I met my grandmother once when I was a kid. I want to see her again because at least I'll have some family with me. I see. How do you know you met your grandmother? I asked my mom about it, and she told me that I had. I mean, I was way too young when I met her, so I have no recollection, but knowing that I met her means that I have another family that I could get in contact with. Ah, well, I wish you all the best. I have to go. Bye. Is everything all right? You look a bit pale. Oh yeah, everything's just dandy. Goodbye now, dear." I was confused by the way Elvira was behaving. The second I mentioned finding my grandmother, she began to look paler and paler. I wondered if I had said something wrong to her, but eventually decided not to dwell on it too long. I had bigger things to worry about. I kept trying to reach out to my dad using the number that I had found in Mom's dresser, but I never got a reply. Frustration began to eat away at me. I began seriously contemplating foregoing all precautions for my safety and ordering the kit. But then one night Elvira came by my door again. This time when I opened the door, Elvira looked intense. She walked past me and into the house. She sat on the couch and I sat down in front of her. We were silent for a bit before I broke the silence and asked if everything was all right. "Is everything all right?" "I'm so sorry for coming over like this. There's something that I have to tell you." "Oh, what is it?" "Are you still searching for your grandmother?" "Yes. Why are you asking?" "I wanted to tell you that you can stop searching for her." "Huh? What are you saying?" "I'm trying to say that I am your grandmother." "What? Elvira? Are you okay?" "I know I sound insane, but there's something that you don't know about. Everyone in your life has hidden it, but I hope that your mother would tell you one day. I'm only telling you right now because I didn't want you to feel as if you had no family." "Okay, but what is it?" "The man you think is your father isn't actually your father." "What? What do you mean?" "Years ago, when your parents had just gotten married, they moved into this apartment. Living next to them was my son, Tom. Your mom and Tom had an affair. Now, I'm in no way proud of what Tom did, but he ended up getting your mom pregnant." No, what are you saying?" "I'm so sorry that you're finding out this way, Iris. But your dad had his doubts about you being his. He never did anything about it until Tom came clean one day. Apparently your mother knew about your real father, but she wanted everything to be kept a secret. Guilt ate away at Tom and he confessed to your dad. Your dad had a DNA test done and the results showed that Tom was the father." "Oh my God, what the hell? Wait, how did I even meet you? Was it you that I met?" "Yes, it was me that you met. Your mom and dad got into a huge fight after he found out about your mom's affair. He was not angry with Tom because your mom confessed that she coerced Tom into sleeping with her, or because she felt lonely when your dad spent his days working to provide for her. So he asked Tom to take care of you for a few days while he and your mom sorted things out. Tom brought you over to my place one day, and that was when we first met." Holy crap. I don't even know how to react to all this. How did you become my neighbor? Where is Tom?" "Well, Tom passed away 7 years ago in a car crash. His last wish was for me to make sure you were always okay. So I moved into his apartment and I made sure you were doing okay from a distance." "Elvira, that was really nice of you, but how was my mom okay with that?" "First of all, your mom never had the money to move out of here, considering she depended on alimony from your dad and child support from Tom, which I've been sending on his behalf ever since he passed away. Secondly, she had never met me in her life, so I was able to live here without being found out." I don't know how to feel right now. "Yeah, I just dumped a huge load of new information on you. I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. If you'd like it, I would like to take care of you for a little while." "I would actually love that. Do you mind if I stay with you? I don't want to be in my apartment because there are too many memories of everything here." "Why would I mind, sweetie? Come on over. I'll make us some hot cocoa and you can ask me all the questions you want." My mind had gone numb, as had my feelings. I didn't know what to think about anything. I just followed Elvira into her home and allowed her to take care of me. As we sat down with our steaming hot cups of cocoa, Elvira handed me the DNA test that showed that I was not my dad's child, but rather Tom's. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I just stared at the report for a long while before something in me just cracked. I couldn't believe that I had lived a life so devoid of family. I remember feeling so angry that my mom would do something as horrendous as what she did and still blame everyone else around her for her mistake. She didn't ever let me get in contact with anyone that was related. Why would she? I would have hated her if I knew, and I would never have provided for her. The audacity she had to make me feel so bad and leave me only made me angrier. As I sat there and cried for a long while, Elvira comforted me. She held me close to her and let me sob into her. I was so glad that she had been there watching over me without me knowing. She was like a guardian angel. When I finally calmed down, I asked her to tell me all about my biological dad, Tom. She told me that he had been an engineering student at the college near my place, and that he was a very sweet and compassionate person. Clearly, he had a good head on his shoulders for him to have come clean to my dad, who, I add from the pictures I saw in my baby albums, was a big buff man. Elvira and I cried some more that night as she shared a lot of stories of Tom. A piece of me finally began to heal. Elvira took on full financial responsibility for me. She helped me start looking for colleges too. I mean, yes, it's still weird to think that Elvira, the woman I casually saw from time to time while growing up, was actually my grandmother. But in a very weird way, it made sense. I've been in therapy for the past few months. It's been a difficult process to undo a lot of the complexes that my mom made me develop and also accept my new reality. I still miss Mom from time to time, but even more than that, I feel this immense amount of anger towards her. If I ever see her again, I don't know how I'm going to react, but that is a thought for another day. Now I finally have a family that actually loves and cares for me. Elvira is taking me back to her hometown so I can meet her siblings and their children and finally be with my true family. Things are looking up, and I can't wait to see how life turns out from here.